kick off this panel discussion, we have with us Pathorn. He's the developer advocate at Hashgraph. We have Sonny Mohanty. She is the head of ventures and ecosystem building at XDC Network. And we have the amazing, the revolutionary Sandy Carter from Unstoppable Domains. It's my pleasure to be hosting this panel today. Before we start, let's have a quick round of introductions. Sandy, do you want to start?
Sure, I will. Hi, my name is Sandy Carter, and I am the COO of a company called Unstoppable Domains. We are a digital identity platform, basically a naming service to make it easier for you to transact in crypto. We do 30 million resolutions every week, taking a name like sandy.crypto over to my wallet address and the wallet address back. And we're bridging the gap between assets in the Web2 world and the Web3 world, making sure that we have the first asset that doesn't have the title Web2 or Web3, but just an asset. So that's kind of the first step into making Web3 mainstream. Thank you for having me today.
Thank you so much.
Wow, Sandy, I've always adored you. I've seen you on LinkedIn. I see you in person in Singapore. I'm like really awestruck. Welcome to Singapore. So I live here. So yeah, that's home. But yeah, with my introduction. So Sonny Mohanty, as you can see, I represent XDC Network. So XDC is the venue sponsor, and we had a demo day, a fantastic demo day before that. So what do I do at XDC? I'm the head of ecosystem and venture building at XDC. What does that mean? That means to get amazing real-world asset projects onto the XDC network, be it if you are tokenizing gold, any sort of assets, real-world assets, trade financing, right? So you can come and build on XDC. We are very, very cheap, almost near zero gas fees, and very speed, because XDC is launching XDC 2.0. We're upgrading, which means you have more liquidity, more speed, and more scalability. So yeah, that's me. Thank you so much.
And we have Pathorn, of course.
Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Pathorn. I am a developer advocate from Hashgraph. Basically, Hashgraph is the tech company behind Hedera. So just give you a little bit information about Hedera. Hedera is one of the most utilized network, DLT network out there in the market. Right now, we are processing more than 2,000 TPS per TPS every day. So yeah, really happy to be here and have this panel discussion with you guys about RWA, because RWA is one of the most popular use case on our chain as well. So looking forward to it.
Can I tell a funny story? So I was flying back from Davos, which is in Davos, Switzerland. And I got on the plane and I sat down, and there was this really nice guy beside me, and he was talking to me. And it turns out he is the CEO and founder of Hedera. And he was the nicest person. I never would have known he was like a billionaire who had done so many amazing things. Just a super nice person.
Thank you so much for the interesting story and the amazing introductions. I think my first question would be to you, Sandy. Unstoppable Domains has been at the forefront of digital identity, Web3 identity solutions. And this ties in really well with RWAs. Can you speak a little bit about the Web3 identity solutions and how Unstoppable is sort of taking the center stage in this?
Yeah, so if you think about your digital identity in Web3, it's really like a LinkedIn profile, except it's on-chain. It's on the blockchain. And because it's on-chain, it's trusted and verified. And so inside of your profile, so like a sandy.crypto, inside of your profile, you can store different assets. Many of those assets now are RWA or real world assets. So for example, we did a partnership with the city of Austin, and they have tokenized or made into a real world asset a membership in the Chamber of Commerce. So that's stored in your digital identity. In California, I'm from the US, in California, they have now taken your car title and they have digitized it, and that can sit inside of your digital profile. And so as we're seeing now, there's so many new real world assets being created, but one of the questions that we don't think about is, where do we store all that information? So last night I was at a Web3 influencer party and I met this fabulous guy who is tokenizing diamonds. So diamonds are like the coolest thing, right? And so how do you prove the ownership of your diamond or that your diamond's a carat? He's now tokenized all that information. And he came up and approached me because he said, people don't know where to store that information now. So now they can have a private, confidential, protected area of their digital identity or their profile and store that information about their diamond. You can also do this for education. So did you guys know, I'll just take guesses, how many people on LinkedIn don't tell the truth about where they went to school? What percentage do you guys think? Any guesses?
Wow.
95. Someone said 30, somewhere in here. It's 30% of people who list a school on LinkedIn actually never went to that school. So now imagine a Web3 digital profile like from Unstoppable. You can now get a tokenized diploma that proves that you went to that school. How powerful is that for a recruiter or for you doing references, for example? So there's just so many different avenues. I'll tell you one more story. So last night I also met a gentleman here in Singapore who's developing real-world assets of your healthcare data. And so he's going to tokenize that. And again, he wants to store it somewhere so that you always have access to it. So you'll see me hobbling around. I broke my femur in Brazil. I will tell you that it took them almost 48 hours to get my medical records sent from the US to Brazil. It took a total of 27 phone calls to get those medical records sent from the US to Brazil. Imagine if I had had his solution then, and all those medical records were stored in my unstoppable digital identity. And I could have just popped up in my phone and said, here, give me some morphine and operate immediately. What a powerful situation that is. So we're really excited to be on the forefront of all things RWA and helping regular people be able to store these things in the future.
Absolutely. And those are some great examples of real world use cases of RWAs. Talking about real world use cases, Sonny, of course, XDC Network has partnered with a lot of enterprises, startups, and they're trying to aid the sector at large. How have you been interacting with, I'm sure you've been interacting with a lot of entrepreneurs. Can you share specific examples or projects that have done some amazing work in the RWA sector?
That's a very relevant question for the panel and for the today, because we had a demo day. So all the projects who are building on XDC Network, they're actually here, somewhere here. Some of them are setting. So he's the CTO. He is putting digital, he's putting educational certificates on the blockchain. Yes, and also because you touched base on the job profiles on LinkedIn and the question about the legitimacy, they are putting that on the blockchain as well. So they are one of the portfolio of XDC Network called EduBook. So yeah, so that's one of the examples. I could see him right there, so I could just speak. Then we have Trade Enabler. They are putting NFT and digital identity on XDC Network. We have Frac from Singapore who are fractionalizing diamonds. Yes, precious assets, IP, and NGO as well. So they are also based out of Singapore. So I can just go on with the use cases. Coming to medical health record, we have another project called Kirk. They are already launched on XDC, and they are putting medical records on XDC Network as well. So yeah, as I said, I can just go on with the use cases and the projects are building on XDC Network. And real world asset tokenization payments is the way to go for the future of Web3 and blockchain. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And it's so amazing to see some examples right here in the room, certain people building such amazing things. Pathorn, you are a techie at heart. You're a developer at Hedera. Of course, there are some roadblocks when entrepreneurs or enterprises try to develop RWA projects. Can you speak a little bit about those from a technical POV?
Yes, thank you for the question. So basically, from my experience, right, when it's come to enterprise adoption, people from enterprise, they are very concerned about adopting new technology. And if you ask me what would be the top 3 challenge that they face, the first one would be the scalability. So when enterprise people want to adopt a new technology, they always think big. They always think like, oh, we're gonna get a lot of users, we're gonna get a lot of people coming to the network. They want a scalable solutions, right? So the scalability is one of the challenges in blockchain, right? Because of nature of distributed system, like Bitcoin, they can support up to like 3 to 5 TPS, which is definitely not enough for the demand, right? So Hedera is quite unique because our founder, Dr. Liman Bear, he come up with a new groundbreaking consensus protocol called Hashgraph, which make us able to achieve 10,000 TPS. So that's why we solve one of the most difficult problem in blockchain, scalability. The second problem is the pricing, the transaction fee, right? If you take a look at Bitcoin or something else, right, the cost of transaction is super high, right, and it's unpredictable. So, for example, today you might pay like $10 for the transaction, and let's say if Bitcoin go up like two times or something like that, the price of Bitcoin go up 2 times, you might have to pay $20. So for enterprise, that is a big problem because they have to have like a yearly budget planning. So if they cannot plan the budget, they cannot adopt the technology. So what we saw is that the way we have our transaction fee pricing is fixed in USD. So you always pay the same price every time. It doesn't matter if HBAR price go up or down. If the transaction is 5 cents, it's always 5 cents. So that's one of the problems that we are solving. And the last one is, I would say, is about the lack of resources. So for big enterprises, of course, they have an IT team, right? They have IT capability, but most of them are Web2 developers, right? And then they have a limited knowledge about Web3. And it's taking years for them to adopt a new technology like Web3. So what we do is not only we provide the technology, we also provide a lot of open source projects like asset tokenization studio or stablecoin studio, where they can just come and grab it and use our technology without having to invest a lot of resources into technology. We provide that for them for free, and then they can do what they do best, which is focusing on their business. So yeah, that's how we solve the problem.
Interesting. Thank you so much for that, Pathorn. Sandy, you have a relevant experience in cloud computing as well as AI. We've all been really excited about the convergence of technologies. When we talk about the convergence of AI, blockchain, and cloud computing, how can this lead to mass adoption for something like RWAs? And when we talk about mass adoption, of course, there are a lot of challenges that we look at. What are some of the key opportunities and challenges in terms of sectors that can can be opportunities? You already spoke about a few, which can be healthcare or education records. If you can speak a little bit more about challenges to mass adoption as well as opportunities according to your.
Yeah, that's a great question. So thank you. We believe that all of these technologies are going to converge together. So right now, the shiny object is AI. I was super proud actually of Token, because at Token, it was really about on-chain, like everything being on-chain, less about AI, only AI. And so it really blended the two together, I think, very well. And if you think about it, the University of Ethereum just published this cool Venn diagram that showed that the gaps that exist today in AI can be helped or covered by blockchain. And that's mostly about trust verification, right? Edelman just did their trust study, and trusted technologies, blockchain is more trusted than AI today. AI is sitting like right on the borderline of, will people trust AI or will they not? And so we see a lot of convergence. So for example, one of the things that we filed a patent for is the trust verification of whether a picture or a video or a quote is actually real, by allowing the owner to verify that on chain so that you can make sure that it is real. And I'll give you an example. How many of you guys saw the Pope in that bomb and puffer jacket? How many of you retweeted it along with 30 million other people? And it turned out to be a deep fake. It was a fake picture of the Pope in the puffer jacket. Well, if we had had blockchain used with that AI, we could have actually verified that with a check mark of some way to ensure that what you're looking at is real. And this is really important because if you think about it, 49% of the world's population will be going through an election. And the number one issue is not actually an issue that is political, but it's, what do I trust? Is that quote really from that candidate? Is that video really from that candidate? Did this really happen or not? And so I really believe that a lot of this will help mainstream adoption of blockchain, seeing more of the gaps in AI and having blockchain to be able to fill in those gaps.
Absolutely, that makes a lot of sense. And the deepfake problem is in fact real. We as journalists have been trying to tackle that, and it seems like blockchain can be the solution to these problems. Sonny, you've of course mentored a lot of Web3 startups. If you can talk about your journey as a mentor for Web3 startups, what sort of problems, issues, challenges do these startups face, especially the ones in RWA tokenization?
Again, that's a very relevant question for what I'm involved right now. So sort of running those acceleration programs. So as part of the acceleration program, we are working with Plug and Play, one of the well-known VCs, Tenity as well, one of the well-known VCs, T-Hub, global accelerator as well. So we are onboarding startups, like per cohort, we are onboarding like 10 projects. The main challenge that I have noticed is besides funding, the funding is obviously a big challenge, right? The reason these startups, for instance, I would say, give an example, they approach a blockchain irrespective of if that chain is compatible with their project. For instance, we are a real world asset chain. So XDC is a RWA chain known for RWA, but there are projects who have approached other blockchain just for the sake of grant, and they realize they have gone nowhere. Okay, you get the grant, but that's not the only thing that a startup needs to launch in the market, especially with marketing, go-to-market strategies. All these things like the pitch deck as a basic, as a foundation, obviously lacks depth, right? So these are some of the aspects that I realized during this acceleration program. I was closely attached with these founders as well. So I came to know there are a lot more challenges, holistically, and not just about funding, right? Because XTC is supporting these founders with the much needed funding, but they also need other investors. They also need the ecosystem. So that's where we pitch in. Like, we have an ecosystem that already built on XDC Network that can help these projects give that much needed push. So yeah, I mean, I would say it's actually almost everything once you go deep dive into these projects.
Absolutely. Mentoring projects that need to be out there, that are doing the work for goodwill, is definitely God's work. Pathorn, I have a question for you. So you've worked with CBDCs and stablecoins as well. Can you talk about a few important use cases that come with the integration of stablecoins, digital assets, and RWA tokenization?
Yeah, thank you so much for the question. I think that is a very interesting question, right? Basically, when we talk about RWA and stablecoin or CBDC, they are very tightly connected, basically. I think one of the, I would say that, if we talk about RWA, right, why do we need to tokenize the real world asset in the first place, right? The reason is that, we get a lot of benefit from RWAs, like fractionalized ownership, or making your asset more liquid, right? So, and then for a lot of projects, basically, for example, real estate, for example, right? You want to tokenize your a piece of land and then sell it to a retail investor, right? Make it easier and more easy to access from like a low value investor, right? So, and when you put this RWA asset on sale, you need some form of payment. So that's when stablecoin and CBDC come to play. So basically, stablecoin and CBDC will be a form of payment for RWA, for example. So, for example, last year, together with Shinhan Bank, Standard Bank, and SCB TechX and our partner in Taiwan, we did a POC on international remittance. So basically, we allow, for example, a customer in Korea to transfer the money from Bank of Korea to Thailand, for example, and the money will get converted and sent across country within seconds. So we bring the settlement time down from days to seconds, right? So for next stage, basically, we would like to allow people to use this type of stablecoin or CBDC to purchase RWA abroad. So it's kind of like, supporting each other. So it's very, very tightly connected between these two use cases.
That does make a lot of sense. Now, I was at Token 2049 and there was an interesting thing that Vitalik said during his speech. He said that we're no more early in crypto, we're early to the usability of crypto. And as we talk about usability, of course, RWA tokenization brings a lot of important use cases in people's life. We're almost at the end of the time that we have for the panel, but as we close, I have a really important questions for all three of you, which is, where do we see the sector or the space if we talk about RWA tokenization in the next 5 years? We're not early anymore, clearly, but if we talk about integration into real world lives or livelihood, where do we see the sector? I think, Sandy, you can give it a start.
Well, I think that I was just chatting with one of my colleagues at Amazon, and we were looking at ChatGPT. How many of you guys have used ChatGPT? Yeah. It's easy, right? It's easy to use. And we were teasing each other that had that been written by a Web3 company, that we wouldn't have just been able to get on. We would have had to log in. We would have had to figure out which of the many different cryptocurrencies to use. We would have had to go onto an exchange, come back, maybe gotten rugged. But if you look at ChatGPT, it's just so easy. You just open it up and you just use it. And I think that's really what we need in the Web3 space, is more of that ease of use and usability. So for example, for unstoppable domains, now that we're partnering with a lot of Web2 companies, we're seeing that, for example, the wallet has to be easier. We can't use the same terminology. We have the secret handshake, right? We have all these secret words and phrases that we use. We can't even continue to speak in code, right, if we want to be inclusive. And so I think many of those things are going to be really important for widespread usage. But then, the number one is just a killer use case. Like, look at ChatGPT. They have like killer use case because it helps all of us with our daily work. And we need that here too. I'll give you one example that I think is a killer use case. I don't know if you guys know Yo. He is the CEO and founder of a company called FarmScent. And they work with farmers around the world. And the big problem...
My friend.
Yeah. And so he wants to, the cool thing is farmers have low margin, so they need to get paid very quickly. So instead of doing like 30-day terms, 60-day terms, 90-day terms, we're actually giving them a .farms, which enables them to easily and in human language be able to collect payments in crypto, which means there's no middle person, there's no gap, 30, 60, 90 days. They can get paid instantly. Those are the types of use cases we need that are just super valuable that can help move the space forward.
Absolutely. I do agree. Sonny, do you want to add to that?
Or did you just text him that I talked about him?
I was about to text, but I just got the mic, and he gave me a domain name, by the way. Yes, after that.
He's amazing. If you guys don't know him, you should definitely get to know him. He's a great guy.
He's a genius.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. So coming to your question about RWA, okay. So we are RWA chain, and what I see that, now there are currently some challenges in adoption. Why? Because of regulations, right? So for example, when you are tokenizing a piece of real estate, right, it touches the securities, right? So then the question is, do I need to regulate myself? Do I need to regulate the technology? Do I partner with a regulated organization? So these are some of the questions where I think the startups are still figuring out the answers to, especially when you're launching a token with it. where do I issue my token out of? Which jurisdiction? Am I going to be in the purview of SEC if I tokenize and they consider it securities and obviously I end up in the jail? No, I don't want to do that, right? As much I want to make the real world asset more accessible and liquid to the retail investors, I really also want to ensure that I'm following the regulations around it. So these are some of the questions which I see the startups are still asking. And they are still figuring out crypto-friendly jurisdictions, sort of say. But I think in the next coming years, I think these questions would be more easily answered. That's what I think, because more and more adoption is happening, more and more use cases and dApps are getting built on chains like XDC Network, where they're tokenizing real world assets, be it the actual trade financing, be it diamonds, gold, be it the medical record. So once you are in the space, then you have to talk to various associations, various regulators, various licensing body, and that's when holistically you realize, oh, these are some of the challenges I wasn't aware. I am there to tokenize and help and make a life simpler, but I also have these challenges. Like I have to ensure that my country actually allows me legally to tokenize this asset class, right? So I think these are some of the hurdles, obstacles, which they are now getting aware of. And they also are reaching out to the right people. Like, we have partners like Tenity, Plug and Play. They have all these mentors who are giving them the right advice and the right path. So I think in the next 3-5 years, all these questions would be probably addressed, and they can only focus on, developing their product and launching it to the market. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Sonny. Pathorn, Sandy rightly mentioned that the ease of usability is something that has acted as a roadblock, and that is something that we definitely want to target or work around in the next coming few years. So what do you think would be the future, and how would Hedera be at the center of that sort of a future?
Thomas, yeah, and when we talk about RWA adoption in the next 5 years, I'm very confident in that. Basically, we will see more and more RWA use cases built on our network, basically. And I could not agree more with Sonny that, regulatory challenges is one of the most important one. But talking from technical perspective, we want to make the technology more accessible and easy to use for our projects, so they can focus on what they are doing best, basically focus on their business. So for Hedera, we plan to provide the best technology for the ecosystem, making it easy for them to tokenize real world assets, so they can invest most of the resources on the project itself, not on the technology side. Basically, we have a plan to release asset tokenization studio, making it super easy for anyone who wants to tokenize their asset. We already have Stablecoin studio where they can just use our software to issue tokens. So, with these two software, open source, I believe that we can speed up the process of RWA adoptions and make it easy and more affordable for all the projects. And yeah, I'm quite confident that in the future, we will see more and more people adopting this technology, because it has been proven in the past that it's super useful.
Thank you so much for that, Pathorn. We're almost at the end of our time for the panel, and this was absolutely a power-packed, energetic, and exciting panel. I had a lot to take away from it, and I'm sure that so did all of you. If there are any questions that you guys have, I would encourage you guys to approach our speakers and take up those right after this. But what my key takeaways from this panel was, definitely try to keep this space a lot more simple, a lot less complex, and more usable for users, and most importantly, collaboration over competition in the Web3 space. That has been my mantra. That's been something that I've learned from all the events that I go to and all the amazing people that I meet. And of course, with such amazing organization and people like yourself at the forefront of this space, we can definitely expect a lot more collaboration. Thank you so much for this. Can we have a big, big round of applause for our amazing speakers out here?
And can we have a big round of applause for a great moderator as well?
Thank you so much, Sandy. You're really kind.
What is an unstoppable Web3 domain? It's your name on the internet. It's your Web3 identity. It's how you pay and get paid online. It's your universal crypto wallet. It's streamlined login across Web3. verifies ownership of your digital assets and collectibles. It brings NFT avatars to life, an unstoppable Web3 domain. It's owned, not rented. It's freedom from renewal fees. It's something you control forever. Minted on chain, stored in your wallet. It's as versatile as you want it to be. And proof that you too are real, not a bot. It's your name. It's your reputation. It's your identity. It's you. Own it. So, what are you waiting for? Get your Web3 domain today.
Hi, I'm Stephen from Hotcoin, and it's really nice to see you guys here. And I took the picture last year, and I joined this company in the beginning of this year. So you can tell how hard I've been working for Hotcoin. I lost 5 pounds in this year. So I don't want to ruin your happy hour on Friday, so I will try to keep it short and simple. I will just give you some brief idea of what we are doing here. I will skip it. So about Hotcoin, we launched in 2017, 7 years ago. And basically we just do digital asset trading platform. And currently we are ranked around 30 in CMC. 7 years is quite long for a exchange. During these 7 years, I've seen so many exchanges disappeared. So, but we are still standing here. We are still surviving in this very competitive market. It means something. So now currently we got around 7 million active users all around the world. And our daily transaction volume is reaching 15 billion USDT. And we got many offices all around the world. Like my office is in Dubai, and we got one office in Singapore, in Hong Kong, in Japan, and also in America and Australia. So basically, we're a very globalized organization. And this is the first service we are offering to the investors or the traders. It's called Hotcoin Research. And we keep publishing the knowledge and articles daily based. So if you guys are interested, just check our website or just subscribe to the content. And Hotcoin Labs is the one-stop solution we are offering to the communities, especially for the project like the token projects or the coin projects. And there's something I have to emphasize is we are very friendly to those projects who are in the initial stage. So any of you, just if you got any idea, just brought it to us. Let's have a talk. We will work it out together. So this is the one-stop solution we offer to the community. And those are the figures we got for token recently. We helped them increase token holders to 30,000 plus. And the daily trader per token, no, not per token, but for that specific token was 5,000 plus. And we use our database to send the email outreach during launch to Hotcoin platform user, which is more than 6 million. And also we reach other platforms users more than 5 million. So that's a record we achieved for a token recently. And also we will use our KOL pool, globalized KOL pool, to help our clients to spread their image and word to the world. And in Europe and America, we have more than 15,000 KOL in the pool. The total followers will be around 50 million. And in Japan and South Korea, we got even more KOL. And also, our KOL pool covered Southeast Asia. And also, we are doing AMA in the space live frequently. Usually we're going to have 2 AMA per week. So if you're interested, just search Hotcoin on Twitter. You're going to find us. No, sorry, X. You're going to search on X and you're going to find us. And this is a typical token listing service. I'm not going to go through the details today, but I have to mention that if we got a huge discount for tonight, and everyone want to list their token or coin on Hotcoin, just come to us. You will get like 50% off, exclusive for today. And this is other thing I have to mention. And it's a copy trading feature on Hotcoin. Actually, it's not really unique on the exchange. I know many of us are having these features, but that's something different. We call it Star Trader Program. That means if you are a trader with no name, but you are confident, like you believe yourself a future star, so you can just come to us. Here's the process. You can come to us, pass the exam. We're going to give you a certification. And after that, you will be issued thousands free trading funds. And you can start your trading with this free fund. And of course, you can lead the copy trading. We will use all types of our social media resource to promote you and let you be the star trader, which will maximize your profit and earning. So this is the new program we are going to start very soon. And of course, like most of the exchange, we are recruiting our affiliates and ambassador. So if you are a KOL of Web3 world, and if you are interested, just come to us and we can make a very nice deal. And this is the special offer for today. And everyone, if you just follow and like any 2 social media accounts of Hotcoin, or you take a photo of the booth, which is just outside, and post on Instagram with the hashtag Hotcoin Singapore, you will receive a free gift. And there's another exclusive activity on the app. Any of you just download the app, register, deposit at least 10 USDT, and make 1 transaction. You will receive our limited edition gift back. Okay. So I think it's quite enough for today. I'm done talking. Thank you and enjoy your time. Thanks again.
It started with a vision for how the internet should work, how it could work.
It really should be possible for anyone to just kind of wave their hand and carve out a piece of cyberspace and create a world of their own.
But the technology to achieve such a vision simply did not exist.
There's no way that you can have really high throughput and also have all these security and fairness properties. I was able to convince myself it's not possible. And I set it aside, and it would come back and haunt me, and it would keep nagging at me. And so I would pick it up again and set it aside again. And this kept going for years.
3 years later, Lehman had a breakthrough, the Hashgraph consensus algorithm. In 2015, Manson Lehman founded Swirls to battle test the algorithm in private permissioned environments. And the following year, Lehman published the technical paper. But in order to realize the vision of a fairer, more secure digital future for all, the world needed a trust layer, a public ledger built on Hashgraph.
Okay, it looks like we are down to the final seconds here.
3, 2, 1. Open access.
The network is open. As of this moment, we have council member nodes online, ready to take transactions from anyone, anywhere in the world.
Since open access, Hedera has witnessed exponential growth on the network, with billions of real-world transactions, hundreds of applications, and tens of thousands of ecosystem developers. The Hedera Council has gone from strength to strength, growing to 29 members on 6 continents, stewarding the network responsibly and ensuring its longevity for generations to come. Hello, future.